welcome back to another episode of NFTs with Keys. As our intro said, we be stating soon.
We be stating.
That's a little mistake from our producer. He did all that for me earlier today, so shout out to you, Rob. You made my intro better,
Right.
so it's not all quiet. So no one out there make fun of him or give him a hard time because that's pretty cool. He was able to do that so quickly. So, anyways,
we could all really understand it was definitely Rob's
fault. Yes, but but anyways, to start it off, go follow me on Twitter at NFTs with Keys, as well as my friends over at Our Heroes Crypto. So for today, we're going to be talking about something kind of weird. Bored Apes kind of dropped in price, sort of, and then
weird. You mean opportunity?
Yeah, sort of. And then also we're going to touch down on Kraken. That exchange has some big news. I don't want to ruin it because I think the news is kind of interesting and I think there's a lot to discuss there. I'm definitely interested in your opinion, Rick. And then we're also going to end it with the Wall Street Journal being wrong, like they always are, stating that NFTs are flatlining. So, let's hop into this with this Bored Ape dropping 32% since last week. It all kind of started with Yuga Labs. They dropped this new metaverse game called Other Side. So this is where it gets kind of weird, where you're starting to say, "Oh, Bored Apes dropped in price," but yet when Other Side launched, the land sales from minting sales to secondary sales nearly netted $1 billion with a B. So it's kind of hard to say, "Oh,
right.
Bored Apes are losing value," when their whole community is getting billions of dollars in about a week or so. And also too, Apecoin surged during this whole Other Side, project drop. But I think the issue that from what I've read and from what I've seen, the issue has to do with Yuga Labs and the way they formatted the sale that caused Bored Ape holders and Apecoin or Bored Apes and the Apecoin to drop a little bit. Apecoin dropped about 45% from its peak price. So that also too is one of those financial jargon speak to try to make, try to say something bad, but it's like, okay, well, let's put it this way: in our viewership, we have one viewer and we get two viewers. We're the fastest growing YouTube channel on YouTube.
Oh, literally 100% growth overnight.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So exactly. So it's like, okay, sure, it's down. It dropped 45% from its peak price, but that's also for multiple other reasons. But then this one was surprising too. The Bored Ape floor went from 152 to 105, which is a 32% drop in the price of a Bored Ape. And that's according to NFT Price Floor. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that that's the first time in probably 4 or 5 months that a Bored Ape was under $300,000, which still
blows my mind.
Yeah, exactly. It's still insane to think about that a Bored Ape dropping under 300K is like a, oh my god, well, what's going on here moment for that community.
However, you know what this means? This is that opportunity time. I might be a proud owner of a Bored Ape soon enough. Right when it crosses that threshold of a comfortable $50. I'll see its bottom.
So never. But Bored Apes, they're still the strongest NFT out there. Especially out there in the markets. I mean, $142 million is what they've made, just in transaction fees and buying and selling some in the last week or so. So they're still the top of the charts. And then, interestingly enough, as Bored Apes are starting to seemingly go down and start crashing, Elon decides to change his profile picture just to kind of make a shot at the NFT community. Posting a collage of Bored Apes and tweeting, and I quote here, "I don't know, seems kind of fungible." And thanks to that tweet, it actually put the price of Apecoin back up, as well as I think the Apecoin jumped up 19%. So just from that tweet alone, and also too, it was confirmed that that those bored apes or that bored ape collage, it was actually made by Sotheby for an upcoming auction.
Oh,
So
no way.
there's also some other people thinking maybe this is Elon's way of saying, hey, I might have just bought Twitter, but I also might buy all these bored apes. But we'll see what happens.
Ooh,
We'll see what happens. That's
gonna be dope.
yeah, that's conspiracy theory stuff there. But I honestly think Elon was just making a friendly jab at the NFT community because I would hate to believe that he doesn't understand what an NFT is and how there's value in owning an NFT compared to just right clicking and then saving it and making it your profile picture and saying I have it too.
Oh,
Like I'm sure he's smart enough to know that that's not real ownership. Just because I take a picture of the Mona Lisa at the Louvre doesn't mean I own the Mona Lisa.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny because it was one of those like, it was article after article, around Monday and I think Tuesday and then Wednesday comes the Elon Musk tweet and everything goes right back up. And it is crazy how much power Musk has, not only in the tech space, but also in crypto space, and just in general
I
in
wonder if he
space
wakes
space
up.
as well too.
So I wonder if he wakes up and just thinks to himself, "Huh, I wonder what company I'm gonna prop up today." You know, like just kind of like kicking back there. I wonder if I can destroy Disney today.
Yes.
Like just a few clicks of the keyboard, swipe of the mouse. Disney stock 25% lower.
Yeah, I mean that's what he kind of threatened with the whole Twitter thing. He said, "I'm buying it or I'm selling my stock and taking your stock." Like, so I mean, he kind of did. He kind of can if he really wanted to. But we're gonna move on to this Kraken news. So, crypto exchange Kraken. For anybody out there who, for whatever reason, don't know about Kraken already, they recently announced that they're gonna be launching an NFT marketplace. And here's the very, very interesting thing: they said they're gonna cover transaction fees. So that means gas fees will be covered.
How? Huh?
I I don't know how that is going to work. Um, they did say that customers can now sign up for this feature. It's not released yet. It's in the future, so it's probably coming in the next. Yeah, it's coming in the next few months. Um, the platform says it will provide unique offerings, most notably subsidizing Ethereum to USD transaction costs, such as gas fees, the cost of paying for transactions on Ethereum, if you don't know what gas fees are, and other proof of stake blockchains, according to the exchange chief operating officer, David Ripley. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know how they're going to do it. Rob, the producer for the show, before, while we were just kind of discussing things, he thinks it's going to be, added in somewhere on the back end. You're going to pay more for something else here or there to help pay for that. I'm not too sure about that. Um, but it is really cool how Kraken is planning on subsidizing transaction fees, which I mean that's awesome. I mean at the end of the day, if you can lower the price of gas fees from $1,000 to $40, I'm sure you'll see a lot more sales on your marketplace.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think the biggest deterrent, even for me to want to get into like NFT world and the Ethereum side, is the unpredictable nature of gas fees and how much that can realistically cost you. Like it just seems ridiculous to me that I try to sell something worth, let's say, 50 or 60 USD, right? It's going to cost more gas to get me to move this item than it would be the thing's worth. And then, like, I understand that's the nature of the beast here, but when we're talking about real larger transactions, Heckie's right. The difference between $1,000 and like $40 is absolutely insane. So even when I try to stop and think about how this model could work, I mean, there are probably a lot of scenarios like possibly having to give up a certain amount of ETH up front, and it sits like in a wallet that exists there, and there's maybe like a small area where a fee, all this stuff just kind of sits there, like free parking,
Yeah.
Monopoly, it'll tap into there. Or if they're trying to game the system here, like I can't imagine it would be an instant buy, there might be some time in between so that it could get maybe the best gas fee price.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because Kraken actually never or still hasn't said how much they're going to subsidize the fees. So we don't know if it's going to be 100% or half. But a lot of things people forget. You can actually adjust on your. You can make gas fees lower by waiting 48 hours. You can do that and that'll lower your gas fees because then you're just getting pushed to the back of the line. Or you can speed it up, and so you get it like super instantaneous, like even faster than before, but you're gonna pay more in gas for that. So that's what I think is gonna end up happening. Is I think, like you said, or how you kind of hinted to, that yeah, sure you might sure you might buy it, it's yours, but you're not gonna get it in your wallet. Kind of similar to like some of the stuff that's happening with Cardano, where you buy it buy it from their stores, and then you wait a few hours, and then you get it, but you're also getting it with essentially no fee at all with Cardano. So maybe that's what they're going to end up doing is, they'll allow you to buy things and have it instantaneous, and you'll pay the, $400 or $500 in gas fee, or you do the subsidized version and you get it within 48 hours, but you paid nothing. That's how I kind of see what that would be. But the marketplace's new website touts zero gas fees for trades on Kraken NFTs. So I don't know if what they mean is specifically NFTs made by Kraken or just NFTs that are minted on Kraken, or like what that means. That's kind of a gray area, especially the way they set it. Um, but yeah, gas fees will be incurred when transferring NFTs on and off of Kraken. So when you move them to a wallet, you're probably going to have to pay normal gas fees, which is another thing that's big with, I know your show, with our Heroes Crypto or the Crypto Bytes show, and with our show, or with the NFTs and Keys show, it's, get all of that stuff off of like
all the exchanges.
Yeah, you don't want it there. So if you're holding all your your NFTs on your Coinbase wallet or whatever, like you don't really own it at that point. You're kind of screwed if they decide to screw you. So you'd want to move them off and move them onto a hardware wallet, or I mean, even MetaMask is pretty good. It's not an exchange, so you're pretty safe there. But those are hackable, way more hackable than a hardware wallet. So, but that's still gonna suck too, because then you're gonna have to pay those gas fees. Um, and then they also said since gas fees on Ethereum are substantial, a marketplace that offers zero fees or subsidized costs would attract users from other marketplaces, similar to how Robinhood attracted customers from other brokerages by removing trading fees, says Mason Nystrom, senior research analyst at Masari. So, and I think that's kind of what they're actually going to be doing here, is I think that this is what's going to actually change a lot of the marketplaces out there. If this does even remotely well, OpenSea is going to have to do it, especially if you start seeing OpenSea's daily trading drop because Kraken is doing this. And at the end of the day, they're doing a huge solid for the NFT community as a whole, for everyone out there. Like, sure, you might not like the exchange, you might not like what's on there, but if this does pick up steam, all these other exchanges and all these other marketplaces are going to have to do this just to keep up. Um, so yeah, the initial rollout for this marketplace is only going to support Ethereum and Solana NFTs at the launch. They are planning on getting some future blockchains on there. I think they would be remiss and kind of a dumb move not to add Cardano and Tezos. Um, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Again, I'm wholeheartedly, I'm one of those people. I want everything in one place. I don't care if there's 40 different marketplaces, but if they all sell the same, or if they are selling all the different blockchains, like Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, Tezos. I don't know Flow. I know that's mostly for NBA Top Shots, but like I want to see it all on one thing, so it's a one stop shop. And so it just depends on what interface, what UI you as a user like the most.
Let's call it the Silk Road.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah.
We're just bringing it back.
Yeah, just bring it back. Just bring it back, right? So we're gonna move on from that one. Again, like I said, I think it's kind of cool. I think it'll be interesting to see what Kraken actually does and see if it actually helps. I don't know. I'm really hoping it does because I think that will change the landscape of you know the way we look at NFTs going forward. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna move on to this Wall Street Journal thing because this thing kind of pissed me off. When I heard that the Wall Street Journal thinks that NFTs are flatlining, and I don't think they actually know what anything about NFTs are really because it's the Wall Street Journal. I don't believe a damn thing they said. So they basically published an article with graphs and all this other stuff, but they really only collected all of their information solely based off of one um, source. Like not wasn't Dune Analytics, which is kind of like industry standard at this point. Um, so it's gonna be kind of boring because I kind of got into the weeds with it. But basically, the Wall Street Journal has claimed that NFT sales are flatlining, but this is also in the same week of that the top 5 NFT projects are just booming. Bored Apes, Azukis, what they would call blue chip NFTs are booming. And I think this, like, sure, maybe the NFT marketplace or the NFTs as a whole are starting to sink, but I think that's because we're weeding out the bad projects. We're weeding out the grifters and the people who are just in there to try to hype everybody up, get a few $100,000, $600,000, and then just abandon the project and leave everybody with a worthless NFT. So I think that's what's happening, and so that's why I think the Wall Street Journal is um, a little wrong in their thought process about like what's actually going on. There was also some pretty good graphs that I saw. um, I'll probably bring them up in a minute unless I forget while I'm talking. Uh, but yeah, so the journal cited data. So the journal cited data from NFT market analyst platform non fungible, which it's not it's reputable. But again, usually when I'm looking at analytics for NFTs, I think Dune Analytics. I know we've quoted them a bunch on the show. Um, but yeah, but anyways, basically they're saying that NFT sales have fallen. So non fungible is saying NFT sales have fallen 92% since an all time high in September of 2021. While it's active in the Ethereum NFT marketplace, we're also said to have declined by 88% since a high in November of 2021. I'd like to think that's because these other blockchains like Cardano NFTs are out there and are blowing up. Solana NFTs are out there and doing really well. Tezos NFTs had a little bit of a moment, but people are still using that. So I think that's what's happening. I think I don't think that it's NFTs as a whole. I think they're really basing it just on Ethereum NFTs. Like that's the only thing that's an NFT. No, the NFT space is Cardano, it's Solana, it's Ethereum, it's Tezos, it's all these other ones. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, and someone will yell at me about that. But yeah, so data from Dune Analytics dashboard suggests that the NFT marketplace is still robust, with information showing that NFT users and transactions are much higher than what they're being reported by non fungible. I think I have the graph. I think I have the graph here. Is that the right graph? I think it's this one. Yeah, so let me put this up on camera here. Here it is.
Nickelback graph.
Yeah, so there's some graphs from Dune. Might be kind of like hard to see, but basically, you know, there's still growth. Like sure, like you'll see in that bottom graph, there's a little bit of a drop off, but it's still doing really well. And again, I think part of that drop off is because of the fact that you're seeing, um, these bad projects. They're starting to fail. People are getting out of them. They're not being fooled by them. People are a little bit more inclined to do research, like we've been all spouting from the beginning. Like like Gary V, is always saying, do your research and stuff. And shout out to you Cardano people, him backing you guys out or backing you guys up recently. So that's pretty cool. Not a big Gary V fan. Not that I have anything against him.
Yeah, same here.
He's a capitalist. He'll hop into anything that he thinks he can make money in. Not saying he does things maliciously or shady. But that's what he's doing.
We're just saying, if that man's jumping still in the NFT game, that means there's money to be made.
Yeah, exactly. That means NFTs are not flatlining. I do actually have another graph to show. Again, kind of it might be a little hard to read, but again, it shows that there's lulls, ups and downs. I mean, you got to think people were in the last 2 years, 3 years, we were looking at um, a pandemic where everyone was sitting around and going, "How can I make money? Like, how can I do this?" And then NFTs blow up because you find out, oh, hey, I can make a bunch of money by buying and selling JPEGs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things. So yeah, and then also here I have one more graph I'm gonna throw up. This one I kind of really liked because it showed that Bored Apes, Suzuki's, Clone X's, Doodles, and even Moonbirds are separating themselves from the rest of the groups and the other projects. And again, that's what it is. Like those are strong communities. Clone X is owned or was started by Artifact, and Artifact just got bought by Nike. Azuki's been blowing up, really kind of cornering like that anime kind of inspired stuff. And a lot of those, except for I don't know if Doodles or Moonbirds are doing metaverse 3D stuff. I know Clone X is, Azuki and Bored Apes are doing that stuff. That's obviously Bored Apes. It's the whole other verse or the other side project that they just launched. So yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to you're starting to see the crap projects being kicked out and pushed off to the side. Um,
Yep.
Also, and so yeah, also analytics are also showing that volume per day in U.S. dollars on Ethereum NFTs over the week, and yeah, over the week is some of the highest the highest that we've seen since February, with OpenSea seeing nearly 550 million dollars in volume in just since Sunday.
Wow.
So to say that NFTs are flatlining is kind of it's FUD. That's the best way I can put it. Is the Wall Street Journal is throwing some FUD out there. I don't know why. What probably is I bet you the owner got like screwed over on an NFT project. Thought he was cool and was like, "Yeah, I'm buying this Bored Ape," and it was like some fake Bored Ape project. So he's
look how rare it is. No. That scale is actually reversed, but that means it's incredibly common.
Yeah.
My Bored Ape.
Yeah. It's like it's not a Bored Ape. It's a Bored Jape or something. It's like something weird.
Oh, right.
It's like not
how
even.
Much I got away with it at like 0.03 ETH. Bored Ape? Yeah, man, Bored Ape. That's a Bored Jape.
Yeah, exactly. And also too the Nansen Blue Chip 10 Index tracks the top 10 NFT projects, and they are up 81% year to date. So meaning Bored Apes, Suzuki's, all those ones, the top 10. So they're up 81% year to date, while comparatively the indexes tracking the top art and gaming NFT collections are respectively down 39% and 49% year to date. But I think that's because the industry or the space, the NFT space, is walking away from just art. We're looking at metaverse. We're looking at AR stuff. We're looking at beyond.
Right.
Like our NFTs was, I hate to sound cliche. It's so
10 years ago.
It's so last year.
Yep.
It's
weird.
Which, like you said, 10 years. A year is like 10 years in the crypto and NFT space. But it's so last year just doing that. You need to be doing more. And so I think that's why it's down. The gaming thing, they're still trying to convince gamers to get involved in NFTs, which is the hardest battle I think any NFT project or anybody out there is. That's one of the hardest things to do because let's be honest, I like gaming.
It's gonna have to be Pokemon level mania, some crazy show coming out there. Absolutely nothing to do with NFTs, but the game for that show drops on a mobile app, and it's the first NFT game by circumstance, coincidence. this blows it up.
Yeah,
It has to be something like that.
Yeah, or like how we talked about, I think last week or the week before, where it's like a card game that ends up being a phenomenon.
Yes.
Like kind of like you said with Pokemon.
That's a real good idea.
Yeah. Like like how Pokemon was. There was an anime, and then there was a card game, and with the card game, if you want to implement the NFTs, you have them tied to the card, where you can do AR NFT stuff and play in real life and do all that. Like that's the way you're gonna get the gaming crowd. Because I'll admit, I like the game. I'd be pissed if I was playing Elden Ring and I had to pay money to get a cool or a sword or something or whatever. Like I'd be upset about that. Or playing Horizon Forbidden West, if the only way you could get a legendary bow was by buying an NFT. That would make me mad as a gamer. But I'm also I'm not opposed to NFTs in games. I just don't think you can introduce NFTs to already existing projects.
Be tactful about it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the non fungible data the Wall Street Journal relied on is misaligned with Dune analytics data. However, it could be due to the inclusion of sales volumes from the play to earn game Axie Infinity by non fungible, because Axie Infinity has been tanking recently. And I think that's because a lot of people are kind of just over it. It's the same thing. There's no growth. There's no innovation there. It's not like I hate to bring up Bored Apes again for like the thousandth time, but Bored Apes started out as just PFPs of apes that look bored, and then they created the Vile airdrop where you could turn your into mutant apes. And also too, they have like the hangouts, the discords, the parties, the events that are only for holders. The yacht club parties. The private Bored Ape event at NYC or NFT NYC, and same one that they had at NFT LA. And so it's like that is innovating their project, and that's what's pushing it forward. Where Axie Infinity hasn't really done much. It's just a game. It's a play to earn game. Sure, you got in early. You're probably still reaping in some benefits, but you're probably also getting out of it and trying to sell things now because you want to get into these other projects that are doing more. So I think that's really the big reason why non-fungible data is really more skewed, whereas it's Dune is looking at it more truly at a statistical level, not just like all together. And it's like, well, if you have an outlier, you don't count the outlier. That's statistics 101. Like, sure, it's there, you can mention it, but once you add it in, that's like saying, do you know what the average human the count of a human hand is?
5.
4 fingers, because people will blow off a finger.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense now.
It's like, what's the average? How many arms does the average human have? 1.
2. Really?
Yeah, because someone will lose an arm, and it ruins the average. So it's like the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Axie Infinity tanks, or another one tanks, and you add that in there, and they're outliers compared to the rest of the community, and it's going to look like the whole community is tanking.
That's a fair point. Yeah, the optics.
Yeah, and so I don't know. So it's
the framing, I should say.
Yeah. So it's like, so NFTs as they were last year, we're seeing a drop, but that was also one of the biggest booms in NFTs. I mean, NFTs have been around since like 2016. No one cared, no one knew about them, and then during the pandemic, everyone in the world had nothing to do, and I won't lie.
Biden filled your pockets with money.
I won't lie. Yeah, and I won't lie. I remember just sitting down. I was like, I didn't know what to watch on Netflix because I went through all the anime, I went through all the other stuff, I went through everything. So I'm watching on YouTube, and I'm watching Logan Paul, and he's talking about NFTs, and I was like, what the hell is an NFT? And next thing you know, a year and a half later, I'm like doing a show about NFTs. Here I am. So like I doubt Logan's watching this, but if he is, you're the reason I'm doing what I'm doing.
Thank you, Logan.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to tell you, Logan, we need to connect, bro. Like we're practically brothers now.
Yeah, right. But again, I do think the whole flatlining thing, I do agree it is going down. It is tanking a bit. But again, I think that's because we're weeding out the bad projects, the projects that are, you know, that are hurting the community, that are hurting everything. And, you know, I think it's a good thing, even though it seems like a bad thing, you know. What's the saying? It's darkest before the light, you know, or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
buildings burn, people die all the time.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, I just think that's where we're at right now in the NFT space. And it's good, as although it does seem bad and some people are getting nervous about it. I think a lot more. The more we get rid of those crappy ones, the more the people who are hesitant to join the community and get into the space will get into the space, because there'll be more security without adding in, you know, some sort of, you know, governing body. You know, it's still going to be decentralized. It's, you know, going to be trustless in that sense still. You know, so I think that's also a big fear for a lot of people who are in it. They don't want it like everyone in it, and then have like, you know, the United States government dictate how much you can have, or how, like, whatever. You know, like we want to get rid of the bad eggs, so that the rest of us can enjoy the space.
That's a very, very well said and very, very valid point.
Yeah, I mean, and with that, and I don't know, unless you have something else to say, like, you know, I do at the end of every show.
No, man, that's cool. I don't know. The end of this, that was a very. I ended on that, man. That was a.
Oh no,
very,
I can never end my show without, you know, giving you your plug.
I mean, if you want me to shamelessly go ahead and let everyone know, we talk about NFTs and all, and I know you people are buying all those Bored Apes and getting all that expensive stuff, but if you live in a different kind of world where you have little ADA in your collection, you're looking to stake that ADA, and you're trying to figure out, well, what stake pool should I be staking with? Maybe think about AGC, single stake pool operated, meaning that low saturation, meaning if and when we mint the block, you get maximum rewards.
And also too, let's say you don't want to put all of your, you know, ADA in there. You can also join any of these great Cardano NFT projects, like the Raging Teens Clan.
Very true.
You know, I mean, that's a shameless plug because I'm a part of them, and so hey, yeah, let's fucking rage, you know. So hey, but yeah, so, and also too, I'm just gonna plug this for you guys as well. If you guys want $10 free Bitcoin, go to swanbitcoin.com/AGC. And you get free $10 in Bitcoin. I mean, it's a great way to start. You never know. You might be thanking us in 10 years where then that $10 of Bitcoin is worth 10 grand. So, hey, who knows? Yeah, and with that, go follow me on Twitter at NFTs with Keys. Thank you to all our followers. Thank you to everybody who tunes in. Thank you. I don't know what else to say at this point. So, yeah, I think we're done. Deuces.